The following is a world-class Bullshitters exclusive.
Live from government-mandated quarantine, it's Fandom Menace Tonight with Jeff Hicks. Hello, everyone. Welcome into Fandom Menace Tonight for April 22nd, 2020. We got a fun show ahead of us tonight because we're going to be talking about Star Wars and the crazy woman who's now in charge of the new Star Wars TV show. Yes, you heard me right. New Star Wars TV show. It's just what we all wanted, right? Wrong. So, yes, we're going to get into that. We have a couple other topics that we want to cover. But first, let's do something fun. Let's do something celebratory. Today is Jack Nicholson's birthday. So, folks, tonight throughout the stream, let me know what your favorite Jack Nicholson film is. If you've ever met the guy, X, Y, and Z. For me, my favorite Jack Nicholson film is clearly Batman '89. It was the first Jack Nicholson film I ever saw. And I also am partial to One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. I didn't really like Hoffa. I don't think anybody really liked Hoffa. And then I'm drawing a blank. Chinatown's good. Witches of Eastwick is fun. But yeah, Jack Nicholson is still with us, and he's still, I don't know if he's still making movies, but I know he's still around, and I'm a fan. So from all of us here in the Fandom Menace, happy birthday, Jack. Now, we also have something to announce tonight. We announced it technically last night on the High Council, but word's getting out. It's starting to spread. But this Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a former Lucasfilm employee that I'm going to interview live on this channel. He's agreed to take questions at the end of the show from the fans, so you guys do not want to miss it. And now, normally, a lot of our streams have a floating time window. We could go 1 hour, we could go 12 hours. It doesn't matter. But this show on Saturday will have a strict 2-hour time limit. So if you have questions, get them in early and get here on time, because the guest does have a very busy schedule, and I wanted to make sure to accommodate them. But that is happening this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on World Class Bullshitters. So, before we get into the main topic, let's see who we got in the chat. So let's hail the chat. We have our friend DomTV2010, who is as excited as I am, it looks like. We have High Commander of Helgen. We have Edward Milton Hogue from Facebook. Thank you for joining us. We do stream in multiple locations, so maybe, just maybe, we'll attempt to stream on Twitch one of these days and see how that goes. Dr. Coffin Nails, I do archive these. If you want to just message me, I'll send you the link or whatever. But it's just to avoid algorithm issues. We also have our buddy Kevin Castillo. I'm every Karen, says send in the Karens. Yes, the Karen jokes have not stopped. Tomorrow on the show, we'll come up with a movie game with the word Karen in it. And last night on Mindless Entertainment, we had a very in-depth, serious, yet fun discussion about Karens. And over on Mindless Entertainment tonight, what are we doing?
We are going to meet Hawkticus History Corner.
All right, so we're going to meet Hawkticus History Corner.
He is an expert in Star Wars ship lore, spaceship lore. So if you have any of your Star Wars spaceship questions or thoughts or discussion pieces, bring them to him. He's got some wonderful rants about things.
So we're going to get to talk about those bombers from The Last Jedi finally?
Mm-hmm. So we are gonna definitely cover that. We'll cover the Jedi. Yeah.
So folks, that's going to be tonight over on Mindless Entertainment, and I will send the link over to you when the time comes. So now the news broke about 4 hours ago, and instead of trying to scramble to make a half-assed video, I thought I'd save this topic for tonight. What up, Tom from Midnight's Edge After Dark? Hail to you, my friend. Let's see. Old School Lou, what's up? We also have Francis, as well as Zach and Bread. There we go. Bread. What a great screen name. Very forward, straightforward. Bread. Dig it. Hopefully you're talking about money. Now, let us show this news, this meh right here. So, Star Wars series from Russian Doll co-creator Leslie Headland in the works at Disney Plus. Exclusive! Yay. I'm so excited. Listen to the excitement in my voice. I just can't wait to watch this show. A new Star Wars series is in the works at Disney Plus. Variety has learned from sources. The series hails from Leslie Headland, the co-creator and showrunner of the executive producer of the critically acclaimed Netflix flick series Russian Doll. Details of the exact plot and series are being kept under wraps, but sources say it will be a female-centric series that takes place in a different part of the Star Wars timeline than other projects. Headland is said to be attached to write and serve as showrunner on the series, with the show currently staffing. Reps for Disney and Headland did not immediately respond to Variety's request for comment. So, let's see. That is basically the gist of the story. And if that was all I had for you tonight, folks, I'd say, well, thank you for watching. Be excellent to each other, and bye. But no, there's a lot more to this lady, and it's not good. So thanks to Tom for sending me this information. Let me find exactly where I put it, because this lady is exactly like a Tessa Thompson or a Brie Larson. She's spouting off shit about diversity and all this other crap. So here we go. I have this video courtesy of Tom. We're going to check it out EFAP style, where we break it down and we don't have to worry about getting hit with anything. So let us share that in just a moment. First off, we had 2 super chats rolling. Thank you very much. Joey Bryant, thank you. He says, Black Thunder music stops. Star Wars with Kung Fu and all women lead staff. Insert S word here. Here we go again. Or let me fix for you. Shit. Here we go again. Yeah, it's funny how they tell us, the Phantom Menace only has one thing to talk about, and when it dries up, you're dead. It ain't drying up. We have many things to talk about, but I do love how the more and more we remove ourselves from Episode 9 and you think Star Wars is going to slowly heal itself like a cutting board, those expensive kind. No, that's not the case. What's going to happen is those cuts, those scars are too deep to heal. This isn't a bruised Star Wars. This is a damaged beyond belief Star Wars. It's going to take Jonathan Frakes to get in there and tell me if it's fact or fiction. You agree? But no, Joey, we have to make fun of this shit because it's going to drive us crazy one day. But rest assured, we're going to be here to talk about it. So if you guys like us, well, we'll be here for quite a while. But thank you, Joey Bryant. Also, Bruce Lombardo, thank you very much. Does Leslie Headland have any old Star Wars toys or comics or novels? Or is this another series like Gotham High, which does not further any of the threads we want to explore? Bruce, you know the answer to that question. It's the latter part of that. I'm going to go with she does not know anything about the Star Wars universe. Now, I could be wrong. Am I going to apologize to her personally? Sure. But then again, she can just go to eBay and get quizzed on by some of her friends. But the real important thing about her isn't just that she is a person, a name to be attached to. Because, here's what I think happens at Lucasfilm. What I think happens at Lucasfilm is that we get these people that Kathleen Kennedy watches their show, go, ooh, I like that show. I think that's a good show. And so that person gets a Star Wars series, kind of like how Oprah gives out cars. Everybody gets one. It doesn't matter if you're a fan. It doesn't matter if you know your shit. It just matters if you have the right politics for Star Wars. And this lady definitely has the right politics for Star Wars. And it breaks my heart, but that's what entertainment is these days. You got to have the right politics to get these jobs. It's not if you're a good filmmaker. It's not if you're a great artist. You have to have the right politics, or else they kick you out of comic book stores. They run you out of Hollywood. They threaten your livelihood, and they try to cancel you. So these people, when the pendulum swings, though, folks, back in the opposite direction, they're going to be pretty much unhireable, because we have an archive of all the dumb shit they've said. And once everybody kind of shakes off this crazy progressive black sleep of Khaled type of thing, maybe they'll feel too embarrassed and they'll just roll up into a ball and disappear like the house in Poltergeist. Or what will happen in reality is people will just remember them as those types of writers. And then there'll be a small group of people that want that kind of entertainment, and they'll continue to make that entertainment for Netflix and that's other shit like that. Also, Writing Sonic, thank you very much. Writing Sonic says we should view people as potential income sources. If you're Disney and big things like that, you should look at them like, well, what's our demographic? What do they want? What can we sell? How can we sell? Because what I'm about to show you definitely isn't going to sell you Star Wars. So we're going to do this EFAP style. Let's break it down and we'll talk about it. So let me make sure I got the volume on this computer. And here we go.
just say that, like, I think white women need to kind of step up their game, to be quite honest. Like, sorry, but I'm calling you bitches out. Like, you really do, because, like, you know, there's like I couldn't agree more with everything that
So this is so great.
I'm also seeing the silent killer, which is a lot of white women at the top who are kind of reinforcing a lot of old ideas. I think a lot of it.
So I'm going to pause it there just for robot's sake. So clearly we're pulling this card already early in the argument. But yeah, Dr. Coffinails, kill it with fire. This is the this is not my cup of tea. This is not the type of lady that I'm like, ooh, I can't wait to hear what her take on Star Wars is, because all of these projects, anything that says it's female-centric is just to appeal to a certain demographic. And it sounds repetitive because it is repetitive and it's tiresome. These people don't get it. These people don't want to get it. They just want to get their ideals out there in front of a bigger audience. I think it's kind of, you know, disgusting that this is a thing that we have to talk about. But it gets worse. Don't worry. You know, if you think this is the roughest part of it, just keep watching for a second.
You know, to give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll just speak from my own personal experience. It's just like I wasn't sure how to be an ally. I wasn't sure what type. I got so caught up in like what kind of terminology I was supposed to be using and being politically correct. And
let's just stop there for a second. What type of terminology I should be using? Why don't you just fucking speak English? And if people have a problem, they have a problem. Let's see. You guys, let's see. You can't hear it, says Lizzo. Or no, Job and Mog. Can you guys not hear this? I got the volume. Let's see. You were the Dob and Mog. That might be you, because How's Your Father is commenting on what the people are saying. So I mean, I think other people can hear it. So let's just see if that is you. You're the only person that says you can't hear it. So let's see, you can't hear things, says Jason. Okay, well, I don't want to hear it. Well, people are be able to hear it. It is real. It is definitely real. You guys are gonna have to turn up your speakers, because I got mine all the way up. Let's see if I can see if this will help at all.
So as I started to rise in television, I started to just get more blunt and just start saying, like, I would like a black writer. Because if I said diverse, you know, you get, well, white is diverse, which is something somebody said to me. And I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I hope you guys could hear that part. So yeah, people can hear it. People said it's better.
Upon graduating college, Hedlund spent 6 years working as an assistant at Miramax, a year of which she spent as Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant.
This woman was Harvey Weinstein's personal assistant. What a great fucking character right here. Thank you, Kathleen Kennedy. This is the shit that gets tied to Star Wars. Let me write that note down. I'm going to make a video about this.
What great diversity, what great progressivism that a woman who was the personal assistant for Harvey Weinstein clearly suffered so many hard knocks in her career coming up. Obviously, clearly knows what it means to be underprivileged and have to fight for things.
This is a fucking golden story right here.
Dude, I'm gonna, yep, we're gonna hear about this on Patreon too.
Yeah. So, folks, there's more. It gets sillier. She's talking about the diversity. She's talking about how, oh, I want a black writer. Oh, I can't, don't talk about diversity. You just don't want white. It's anti-white. It's so dumb. Like, Jesus, how is this a fucking thing? Now, let's continue this and we'll have our discussion. Hopefully you guys can hear it better still.
I was like, it's not cool. But to really, I reached out to my, the women that I respect who are not white writers and directors, and I said, what should I say? What language should I use?
So she only reached out to directors who weren't white because she only respects people of color. Is that what she's saying?
Jeff, you said the same thing both times. You said weren't right and weren't white.
I don't get why this is an actual discussion. Like, we don't live too far from the Variety Building. I feel like we should go pay them a visit and just cough everywhere. Is that a crime yet?
It might be.
It's a $1,000 fine. I think we can swing that to cough in Variety's face. But this I don't even know. This is like yesterday when we talked about I'm not mad, I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed that this is what we're getting with more Star Wars, because as I'm working on the toy video, as I'm working on this other secret one, and with the Lucasfilm employee coming up, I'm thinking to myself, maybe we're just gonna push through and get through this shitty time period. Clearly, I'm fucking wrong.
Also, she's gay.
Oh, and she's a lesbian?
It's very important to know that. Yeah, because that obviously makes her qualified to write this.
So now, doesn't that mean the new Star Wars show is going to have a lesbian character because she, in fact, is a lesbian herself?
Well, she being the only qualified person to write a lesbian character, I feel like it'd be a disservice to our, desperate need for lesbians in Star Wars to have a lesbian writer and not feature lesbian characters. I mean, when you are, in fact, a lesbian and are therefore the only person credibly able to write lesbian characters in the world, you probably should make all of your characters lesbians.
Well, a Chol 980. This is not spin. This is directly from this woman's mouth. This isn't. This is the type of shit she works on. I mean, go watch Russian Doll if that's what we want to watch with Star Wars.
And if you're not convinced that this news is legit, it's already on Wikipedia.
It's already on Wikipedia?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, shit. It's double confirmed.
Super legit. Everyone knows Wikipedia is a real source.
And I think it's worth it if you're in a position of hiring power or green lighting power to like reach out to people that are not like you and say, what can I do to be an ally, and how can I support writers of color and LGBTQ and disabled writers? Like, what can I do?
Maybe you can just hire the people that come up with the best fucking stories. Basic as that.
And what kind of vocabulary should I be using? Because
English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? That's all the only vocabulary you need to worry about.
I think she's asking to be taught how to speak Ebonics so she can properly communicate with her.
This chick needs to get a
writers of
life.
color.
She's look in a mirror, Karen. All right? Look in a fucking mirror. You know what? Here's the thing that bothers me about these people. They want to preach. They want to talk about how progressive they are, and they want to have this power. They want to dictate who gets jobs based on.
She's one haircut away from being a full-fledged Karen.
She is essentially Karen in this video. No, but the thing is, if these people were so worried about the diversity of the minority people in these group represented in Hollywood, quit your fucking job and give your job to somebody else, because that's all you're concerned about.
But she's gay. She is entitled.
This type of shit is very, very annoying.
I think it's just easier. I just see it in the room. Like, I just see them kind of go like, it's just easier. Like, the guy at the top's louder. It's harder to say, like, I think this should be a Black writer. I think this should be an Asian American actor. I think it should be this type of, like, I would like to cast, and really, I find it a lot as well with, as a queer woman, like with gay characters, whether they be gay men or gay women, where I'm saying, like, that's not a gay person. Like, sorry, like, this is not a gay person. Like, we're not representing that in this storyline.
Okay. Anyway, I've had enough of this bullshit.
Who made her the fucking expert on what a gay person is?
I guess she made herself the expert on what a gay person is and all this other stuff. Yes, folks. She's a man, baby. She's something. I don't know what she is. But now, remember, the Lucasfilm Story Group was very indicative of what Kathleen Kennedy's utopian Star Wars creation society would be. And then they all got fucking let go because they suck. Just like our cat shit pancake.
Why?
But this woman, this person, seems like she's so far off the reservation, it's just not funny anymore. And I always ask you guys this question. Is this the type of person you want creating Star Wars? And you're thinking to yourself, well, Jeff, they should be, the best is the best. But this type of shit always bleeds over. If I would have showed you that video of Rian Johnson before The Last Jedi came out, you would have said, well, he used to be this way. He used to want to piss off the audience. He doesn't do that anymore. He's grown. He's a new filmmaker. He's evolved. This is 2003. You got to let people change and grow. What the hell happened in 2017? He did that shit to you in The Last Jedi. And in 2020, we found out it was intentional. So these people, you want to make the argument, oh, they're going to change. They're going to be better. They're, the product won't reflect the artist type of thing. It always does in modern settings because they're always trying to virtue signal through Star Wars. They're trying to do these crazy progressive things, and all they're doing is hurting themselves down the road. Folks, I don't know if this show will ever get made. Who knows? Maybe Disney will go out of business. George Lucas will buy back Lucasfilm and just say, fuck everybody. Who knows? probably not going to happen, but still, you can dream. One could dream. That wouldn't be my dream. We don't talk about my dreams on air. But what we get out of this, though, is a nice little snapshot of what the future is. This is what happens when the Avengers lose and the Chitauri invade Earth. We get all these weirdos that just get implanted in there. Yeah, Kevin, I want Disney to go away too. Go big boy, go home. You get it, dude. You get it. So our friend Riding Sonic says, Jeff, I'm done. I quit. I am no longer a nerd. I don't blame you. Hopefully you're still a fan of our channel, hang out with us and do shit. But I can understand why you would quit being a nerd, because there's nothing to nerd out about. I feel like all your favorite properties turned on you. Like we're Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you're like, you were the chosen one. You were supposed to bring balance to the Force, not kill it, or whatever he says. Leave it in darkness, something like that. But these people, that's all they're doing with our favorite things. I mean, all they did is delay the inevitable with James Bond this year, because November's gonna roll around. We're gonna get some garbage film, unless they go back and do reshoots, which if they do reshoot that movie, it's only to fix shit, because it was supposed to come out in April, and they hid behind this outbreak thing, and that would have been a lie. So that would really hurt that brand moving forward. But ow, shit, hit my hand. Name an IP out there that you love that has not been infected. I think you're going to say Warhammer 40K, but a lot of people know that that's not even safe. Star Trek, Star Wars, Doctor Who. Hell, if the Incredible Crash Dummies were still around today, I'm sure they'd get infected with this bullshit. But there's just too many things to pick apart with these creators, because, like I said, it always finds a way into their work. They cannot separate themselves from it. They sit in a writer's room full of sycophantic people. All they're being told is, yes, you're so great. This is empowering. When I've worked on stuff with people, it's like, does this make sense? Is this what they would do? And a lot of people too, it's like you're getting the keys to the kingdom, and all you do is disrespect it. You left the toilet seat up. You didn't close the garage door. Everything's in disarray now because you didn't respect the kingdom. That's what all these people do with Star Wars. That's everything. Well, guys, you're picking franchises that are over. I mean, Monty Python's over. Breaking Bad is over, essentially. I mean, they did that movie. Just trying to think. Japan is one of the last strangleholds of free entertainment. I do like a lot of Japanese entertainment, especially their game shows. So hopefully they do have something big hit the U.S. and more people are just like, hey, this ideology doesn't fall in line with what I like in my entertainment. So people would pick up I don't want to say Dragon Ball Z because they added that shit, but you know what I mean. And yes, thankfully, Back to the Future is safe from all this shit. Why? Because Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis said not until they're dead. So let's hope that the two last living people on Earth are, in fact, Bob Gale and Bob Zemeckis. Because that way, Back to the Future is safe. Safe. So let's see what some of you guys are also saying. The other guy says, at what point do you guys think losing money will bring about an actual story-driven movie? I mean, this new series, Karen, a Star Wars Story, will do it. Well, Karen, a Star Wars Story is a fantastic title for the show. I might appropriate that moving forward, kind of like we did. We came up with the LGBT 1000 and we just kept that rolling. So Karen, a Star Wars Story, whatever this show is, that's what it'll be referred to as moving forward. By the way, that came from no, right, that was from the other guy. But I don't know if Disney really gets hit hard by this outbreak, this pandemic, and we don't see them recover anytime soon. I foresee that they will push a lot of this stuff because it has the word Star Wars on it. That's all they're going to do, is they're going to move this forward into production. Now, it would be very disastrous if they did that, because you got to think, a lot of this, if this show, this female-centric show, looks like ass, it's not really going to sell Disney Plus subscriptions. This is all for Disney Plus. Tomorrow night on the show, we're going to briefly mention the Warner Brothers, the new HBO streaming service that has all kinds of crazy shit on it. That is how you kind of sell a streaming service. Because if I am a consumer, fuck it. Just because I have this channel doesn't mean my opinion as a consumer is any less valid than it always has been. But I'm a consumer. I like Star Wars. I like Marvel. I I go here to Disney Plus, and they're like, "Hey Jeff, your subscription's about to lapse. Are you re-signing up?" And I'm thinking to myself, well, what am I going to watch as soon as I re-sign up? I don't want to watch old episodes of X, Y, and Z. I don't really need to watch Star Wars because I own the movies. But Clone Wars, that was cool, but you only did one season, so I'm done. The Marvel shows are still in delay. Oh, we got this new female-centric Star Wars show from a lady who is fucking insane. Great. Can't wait to watch that one. No. So I think it will be sooner than later if they decide to ramp up production as soon as this whole thing ends. And they're like, we need to put more content. Go, go, go. Because what could happen is if Obi-Wan Kenobi gets made, and then you have Cassian Andor, and if they're even half as popular or well-received as The Mandalorian, people are going to say, well, Star Wars is saved. And then what's going to happen is you're going to get this female-centric show. And let's just say that Amber Heard's the bed, just everywhere. Amber Heard, all over. People are going to say, well, it's just one bad show. Look at all these great shows. You really are just jumping the gun. You got to calm down. But it's the same argument that was said in 2015 when you're like, oh, Jeff, you're just jumping the gun. How do you not like this new movie? And then you let it sink in, and a couple of years later, people are like, well, shit. Maybe I was blinded by the hype. So I think this show already has a built-in excuse, because if you do not blindly accept it, oh, you don't like it because it's created by a lesbian writer? I don't care that she's a lesbian. She's just an idiot. Yeah, but you're homophobic. No, I'm not. Apparently you are now. And then, oh, it's going to be female-centric. Of course you're sexist. Of course you're misogynistic. It all comes in one ear and goes out the other, because at this point, those words have lost their meaning. It's like at the end of A Nightmare on Elm Street, when Freddy is going to kill Nancy in the bedroom. She's like, I'm not afraid of you. You have no power over me. And he goes to lunge at her, and he just turns to dust. Now, we all know the real ending of the film when he pulls the mom through the door, but that dummy has nothing on the rest of the film. Just like when these words lose their power, they can't come back. You can't have this quick gotcha moment and, all of a sudden the words regain their power. That's just not how it works. I mean, how many people out here have been called sexist or racist or misogynistic online? Press 1. And how many people still care? I don't care. You get called out on this shit, you're like, whatever. It just rolls off your back at this point. It's just tiresome. Midnight Edge After Dark, thank you very much. He says, shh, Jeff, Lady Meatloaf knows she's the best lesbian. I can't unsee it now. Hold on, let's pull up a picture of Meatloaf. So here we have a picture of Meatloaf. All right, I definitely see a similarity. What do you guys in the chat think? I mean, she definitely looks like Meatloaf. Okay, that was a shitty joke. Let's actually look up Meatloaf the singer instead of the food. But Meatloaf the food actually sounds pretty good right now. Yep, that's definitely her. That is 100% definitely her. Tell me in the chat if you see the similarity. Hopefully you do. That there is her. Andrew thinks Meatloaf is disgusting. Oh man, it's a good food. It's comfort food with mashed potatoes and some green beans. But you know what? I can't even take myself seriously with this pink hair. We'll go to this one. There we go. Thank you, though, Tom. Thank you. I needed a good laugh. Itzer Jew says, I said this back in middle school to one of my teachers. No joke. Crazy women will ruin our daily entertainment and lives one day, and it sadly came true. Well, it's definitely the crazy part that came true, because I will never take the channel stance. This channel will never take the stance that women ruin entertainment, because if you're in the age group that I'm in, so I'm 31. So let's say you're within just a 2 to 3 year window. Either way, you grew up watching all the Fox Kids and Warner Brothers Kids shows and stuff. And a lady named Margaret Loesch is responsible for like X-Men, and she's responsible for Power Rangers, and she might even be responsible for Batman the Animated Series. Don't know if it goes further than that. But that lady right there made a lot of people's childhoods. And I think that we really need to remember that that type of person, male or female, is what really helps make great entertainment. I mean, that lady wanted to make an X-Men show for years. They even tried and failed with the Pride of the X-Men, which was a 1989 20-something minute pilot preview. I don't know how to describe it, but Pride of the X-Men was this show that was intended to be a launch for a Marvel X-Men show in the 80s, but it didn't work. It was a failure. So they went back to the drawing board, and instead of giving up, they refined it and they created the most iconic show of the 90s, arguably. I mean, you put it up there with Batman. Spider-Man doesn't age as well. People like to remember that it's better than it really is, but coming from a guy whose favorite character is Spider-Man, that show just, nostalgia speaks for nostalgia sometimes. By the way, folks, we just passed 1,000 viewers, so do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. We've had a lot of really great streams over the last, week or so. They've all been big, so let's just keep the momentum rolling. So do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. Simple request from a giant man. But It's Your Jew, it all comes from the craziness of that. These crazy people in general, because with the crazy women, let's say you get the thing is, you can't really even put it on crazy women, because you have your Daniel Kibblesmiths of the world who create Snowflake and Safe Space, and you have your Mark Wades and your other comic book writers who are just as crazy. They just so happen to possibly have a dick. It's just these it's really, they're fucking brainwashed. It's was it Village of the Damned, where they all have the white eyes or whatever? That's what these people are. And I know I use this analogy a lot, but for everything out there that's entertainment, we are the sunglasses from They Live. We'll present both sides. You can make up your own mind ultimately to decide if you want to go down this path or that path. Because I don't really like to use the red-blue pill analogy. Matrix is great, but I always think of us as the sunglasses from They Live. Because sometimes you have to fight the person. Like, Roddy Piper fought Keith David in that alleyway. He had to whoop his ass to get him to put on those sunglasses. And eventually they did, and they fought the aliens. And if you haven't seen that film, it's fantastic. But sometimes you just gotta, do that. So let's see. Etepa Queen's Place to Be Review says this is Jake and the Fat Man, or this Jake and the Fat Man reboot looks lit. I'd have to be lit to enjoy anything that this woman produces. Leslie Headland, look, she just doesn't even look pleased. It's like you're working in Hollywood, you're at the top of your game, and you just look unhappy. Nothing is ever good enough for these people, ever. So, let's see what other people are saying about this stuff. So we have our friend Sci-Fi George, who says, at this point, Disney should call themselves WCBS. I mean, if they want to buy the name, sure. I'll take one. All it's going to take is 1 day's loss for Disney, that $30 billion they're losing every day. Just cut us a check. And sure, you can be world-class bullshitters because you're already pulling the wool over tons of people's eyes. Our name's just ironic. Riding Sonic, thank you very much again. He says, pardon my French, but these types of bitch shut up and hire qualified people and no, not the woke, no more woke or Karen. I'll say a fan, especially for Florida Man. Your French has been pardoned, Riding Sonic, but I just want to know what the upper management thought process would be, honestly, for this kind of hiring. That's all I want to know. I genuinely am perplexed by all of this. Like, what does this do? I mean, give me an honest answer and I'll shut up. But I just don't see how this is a good business plan. We've proven time after time that it just isn't a good business plan. Maybe we'll make her the Karen card. Kevin Castillo, thank you very much. He says, I hated The Force Awakens. They called me a madman. Kevin, I've been there, my friend. I was called many things, but at the end of the day, I feel okay. I'm happy that I stuck my ground. Chris Kenmore, thank you very much for your generous super chat. Here you go, brother. I had to donate after seeing your avatar. I love it. You have the same hairstyle as my new favorite new warrior. Hail Safe Space. Well, I didn't see this message before I took it away. So yes, hail Safe Space. Just for you. Boom. Boom. Thank you, Chris. And Blue Blood says, Jeff, don't you get it? It's up to Karens like her to rescue minorities like me by destroying what's left of Star Wars. As a minority myself, I guess I should be so thankful that the white savior Karen is coming to save the day. She's coming to make make us all better people, to save us plebs, this entertainment.
You have to let her, otherwise how else will she get over her white guilt?
Oh, well, her white guilt is her problem. I'm not looking for a savior. I don't think we need to be saved. We just need to get away from these people. So yes, by the way, folks, since we're still past 1,000 viewers, this Saturday night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I have a former Lucasfilm employee going to join me for a live stream. And it'll be strict 2 hours. You can ask your questions at the second half of the stream, but it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you guys join us. And like I said, I announced the time that it's going to end, so you can catch the replay and stuff like that. But if you want to get involved, and I know you do, bring your A-game questions, folks. It's going to be fantastic. People are upset now with the green hair. Let's see. I guess I could do that. To be nice. We'll make it. There we go. Joe Exotic. Florida Man. I can't wait. I love Florida Man. But here's the thing I wanted to bring up. I actually took a note for this. You know how all of us have thought, will Hollywood change after this pandemic? Will they change? Will they wisen up? Will they realize that, you know, resources are finite and they have to put the best of the best forward? Because if anything ever happens for just a short period of time, there's shockwaves felt for many months. And the answer is no. The answer is no. Everything's going to be exactly the way it is now. We're going to get our Karens writing our entertainment. We're going to get our Karens policing Twitter. We're going to get all these Karens out there just ruining shit. I'm waiting for a Karen to run Disney. You know, put a Karen at the head of Universal. No, I don't actually. I'm not going to go on that rant. But I genuinely wondered if they would change, and this definitely reaffirms that it won't change at all. None whatsoever. They even said they're staffing the series as we speak. I'll be angry if they decide to fast track this show over Obi-Wan or over Cassian Andor. Thinking, no, those are already further into production. This is Disney. Any dumb shit they do will not surprise me. I wouldn't be surprised if they pulled any of that stuff. Would you guys? Be honest. If you'd be surprised, the answer is no. We already have a Karen running Lucasfilm. You are correct, Sean. We definitely do. She's old Karen. It's like that episode of King of the Hill with the cult of Janes. Old Jane, young Jane, blonde Jane. It's all Karens. All Karens. Karens as far as the eye can see. Mm. You know, Greg, they may have Star Wars series planned for the next 20 years, but they don't have a fan base that's locked in for the next 20 years. I hate to break it to Disney, but a lot of the shit that makes them money now is because it's cool. There was a time when Star Wars wasn't cool, or comic books weren't cool, or none of this shit was cool. And it still was a thriving business because it had a built-in fan base. And you have found a way to push us away from the very things we love. So, you know, I'm also reading the chat too. People are talking about how long is it going to waiting to see how much they can get away with or how much stupider they can be. You'd be surprised with how much dumber they can get. We're already worried about pronouns. We can't use the regular English language because we don't want to offend. We have to worry about science. We can't worry about this. There's all these things that we're basically self-censoring ourselves into stupidity. Our society is taking a step backwards. And it has nothing to do with what's going on with the current global crisis. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about the way people think they should act to be progressive, respectful, blah, blah, blah. You're dumb. You're just really dumb. I disagree that you need to follow in those footsteps to be considered a good, kind person. You know, don't be an asshole, but don't self-censor every step of the way. And if you're making art, make art that you're passionate about, and make art without that self-censoring. You know, if I want to put, I don't know, a naked lady in this comic book and it's appropriate for the story, then I'm going to put it in there. And if some printing in Zimbabwe needs to censor the nipple, then censor the nipple. They probably won't because nobody in Zimbabwe reads comics, maybe. I don't know. Stupid analogy. My point is, though, put your heart and soul into it, but your genuine heart and soul. I don't believe this lady has a fucking soul. That's all I'm going to say. And you know, she doesn't seem like the type of person that's going to hold her tongue on Twitter. None of these people, none of these Karens are going to hold their tongues on Twitter. They're going to be going after fans. This isn't a John Boyega situation where he goes, well, we're over Star Wars. It's not a big deal anymore. It's going to be, I'm trying to think of a good actor Jesse, who's an actor that went after fans on Twitter?
On Twitter?
Yeah. Or just like a Chuck Wendig went out after people on Twitter. So this is like another Chuck Wendig, because she's not a real celebrity. Neither was he. But how dare I suggest Karen has a heart or a soul? You're right. I'm wrong. Karens are heartless, soulless individuals. They're demons from Supernatural. Oh my God. Two things. First off, shout out to Thunder Robots. World Class Bullshitters makes art until someone dies. I do. I'm the world's first fully functioning homicidal artist. Isn't that what he says? I fucking love that movie. I feel like I need to watch that in honor of Jack Nicholson. But I was laughing, though, not at that comment, but also at the remember, you can't fix stupid. You can't fix stupid. These people are just you can't do it. Oh. So, we also had our friend NA who said, they're like unitologists. Karen, make us whole. What's a unitologist? Do you know? Let me look up what a unitologist is. I feel bad when I... Oh, they're a cult. Ah. The Unitologist cult are members of the Circle. They are... Oh, they're encountered in Dead Space 3. Huh. Yeah, this lady definitely is part of a cult. I believe that. You know, it's funny, if you were to use that type of language and somebody said, that's too strong to describe these people. Really, though, it's been years since I studied any the cult. I had a cult class in college, but that's what this really is. It's the cult of Karen. Well, no. But it really is that cult-like mentality, and from the outside looking in, you don't get it. But the difference is, though, there isn't really a charismatic leader at the center of these movements. There's not one individual. There's not one goal, one unified mission. I mean, they're all fucking up entertainment, but they're doing it in their own way. These people aren't... I mean, there are definitely similarities in the way they do things, but then there's also the variations. And, eventually you come to the same point. You've ruined it, but they do it in different ways. So, but I do think a cult is a good way to describe it. Bruce Lombardo says, only 60 plus likes and over 1,000 plus watching. Smash the melee. Folks, listen to Bruce. Do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. We've just hit 1,100 people, so let everyone know that you're enjoying this stream. Logan Michael Anti-Funko Pop says, hello, Jane. I guess Logan Michael knows that episode. And Riding Sonic says, Jeff, free the Zimbabwe comic nipple. I will. I will never censor the Zimbabwe comic nipple. Ever. Excellent point. They're charisma black holes. They use bitching for their ranking system. If only you could get actual oppression points in the real world, then I think you'd be okay. I think these people would be the most successful people in society if oppression points were real and actually mattered. But that's really not the case. That is definitely not the case. It's I don't know how to describe besides saying it's dumb. So, what do you guys think about this? Thank you. Who said that? A disappointed black man. Thank you, a disappointed black man. Hail WCBS. Down with Karens. I want a Down with Karen t-shirt. I'm not down with Karen, just down with Karen. Finish them Mortal Kombat style. Boom. In an echo chamber, it still works. That is true. It does work in an echo chamber, but remember, the market is not an echo chamber. It only works for so long until it doesn't. And I think we're at the point where it doesn't. Because the response, the fan pushback is stronger than ever. But the people who usually attack the fans aren't doing it as viciously as they once did. Pushback is just a, not worth it. I don't know if it's companies that are making this decision for their employees that create and interact with society, the public, excuse me, or if it's just these people are maybe they're afraid, maybe they just don't think it's worth their time. But I am looking up the information about Russian Doll on Google, the show that this woman is famous for, and it seems like places like Vox really like it. The Guardian seems to like it. The Atlantic seems to like it. The New Yorker seems to like it. And I'm sensing a theme here too. So I could just come out and say this shit. Like, if you vote one way, this shit's for you if you work at these newspapers. But I guess they forget about the middle of the country and the rest of the world. And not everyone has the same views as if you live on either coast. Or different parts of the coast, I should say. But I have no interest in Russian Doll. I haven't watched it. And I actually like Natasha Lyonne. I think she's a pretty solid actress. Very funny. But she kind of looks like Alex Guarnaschelli. Ugh. But I'm not going to make you folks look at this anymore. I think we can stop looking at this crazy lady. We'll just look at Joe Exotic. So let's see what else we got for today. I did want to note that if somebody clicked on this link because of Twitter, they noticed that we had the hashtag brownie. Well, apparently the Washington Post printed a recipe for pot brownies in today's newspaper, and the writer officially responded on Twitter with, "Yes, we did." So I thought that was the funniest story of the day. Yeah, that's the story.
Did you download the recipe?
It's on Twitter. I don't bake. Magnus Parvis says Russian Doll is extremely boring and derivative. Basically from the description, it sounds like Groundhog Day. That's all I can say. Sci-Fi George says, remember, saying Karen is the same as the N-word. As a black man from the D, allow me to say Karen, please. Karen, please. I dig it, though. I really like that super chat a lot. Karen, please.
Karen, please.
When I read that thing, see, the sad part is I don't know if it's real, if the outrage is real, or people are just so dumb that they're offended. Like, there's not really a solid yes or no answer anymore to any of this stuff, because we live in the reality where people get up in arms about a fucking commercial that I don't know, or a movie that featured two women kissing, or it didn't feature two women kissing in different parts. We're in a society where everyone's focused on that kind of stuff. So to see someone get upset over the phrase Karen and to read the article you read on your stream last night, that doesn't surprise me at all.
Was so dumb. The history of Karen is told by someone who didn't research this and has no cultural connections whatsoever.
Well, thank you, my Karen. Stay strong.
Safe out there. Hard out there for a Karen.
It is. Makita90, thank you very much for your generous super chat. When you use the term all female or female lead as your headlining factor for any series or project you're working on, it tends to be a warning sign. This can have potential without that headline. Agreed. I don't think you want to put female-led anything right now in geek culture. Well, here's the thing, Makini90. They do want the press, because the people that it's kind of funny how while the top of the food chain is Hollywood and the entertainment companies, they do to a degree rely on the positive word of mouth, or a place to break the story and make it a thing. And for some reason, these types of headlines are the perfect bait or the perfect just morsel for everybody on every side of the political spectrum, or any kind of spectrum you want to be on. Because you have the news outlets who eat this shit up. They eat, they breathe, they sleep diversity. I'm surprised, everything out in California isn't like that. It's not. It's way different. But I'm surprised that that's all these people care about in their work. I would love to just go into a writer's room or like a meeting, have a bagel. I don't want to talk. Just drink a bunch of coffee. And I want to hear these people's meetings and how they think, this is so important. Like, this is what I need to do. I'm being an ally, this, that, and the other. Basically, the closest thing you're going to get is this dumb meatloaf looking lady saying this shit to Variety. So you get that. Then you get the people like me who know that it's going to be a shitstorm because of previous encounters. You talk about trends, you talk about the way things are, why you are or why you act the way you do because of previous experiences. Now, if you would have had one female-centric lead thing suck and everything else was pretty solid, then people would have some footing to say like, well, you're just jumping the gun. But when it's literal years of this shit, when it's Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Doctor Who, Bond, all of it, Ocean's 11 that people forgot about, The Hustle, The Fast and Furious, all female centric, whatever, we just roll our eyes. If you just announced a new Star Wars series today with this lady, all you would have got from the headline from a lot of us was, okay, this lady's doing a Star Wars show. We would have researched her, probably found the article, and then talked about it from there. But we know that this is the intention of the show moving forward. We don't have to read into it. This isn't any leading. There's no stretching or reaching involved. Sounds exhausting. But this isn't us digging for little morsels. This is a fucking platter being just handed to us. It's nothing but turds. But the point I'm trying to get at is we know what this is from the jump. And they want that because they want people to talk about it right now. We're talking about it. Over 1,000 people are listening to me talk about it, and then this is going to reach more and more people. They just want the word out there that there's a new Star Wars show. But the show, The Mandalorian, I think was the perfect blend of it's almost a situation where Disney was more focused on the movie, Episode 9. They were focused on all the stuff that goes with the movie. And so and the media was too. And then The Mandalorian was just like this Disney Plus show that looked cool. And they sold you nothing but the stuff real fans wanted to hear. Favreau, practical sets, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, there are stormtroopers. Look at this. This is real, blah, 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 all these actors. And you just go, oh, it's awesome. And I don't know if it's just me or if anyone else out there feels like that, but The Mandalorian was like appointment television, but on streaming service. Like when Friday hit, I got up, I watched The Mandalorian. The only time I skipped the show was when I went to Jesse's to watch it in Philadelphia. Other than that, I never missed the episodes. I had to watch those. It felt, important. But I think, too, because the focus of the marketing machine that is Disney was, pointed elsewhere, i.e. Episode 9, I feel like they just let a lot of shit with The Mandalorian go, and they were focused on other shit. And that's why it was as good as it was. But thank you, McKinney90, very much. The Accused One says, are there fart bags? Or are there fatbergs in the U.S.? It says fatbergs. I'm sure there are everywhere. That's what Milwaukee is. I don't even know. Dustin W., thank you very much for your super chat. Disney is making a live action version of Dragon Ball Z. What the fuck? If that were to happen, I would probably cry on air. No, don't do it. I don't think it's happening. Just Googling just for the hell of it. But no, that'd be terrible if that was the case. Disney any live action Dragon Ball Z would not be well received. I lived through Dragon Ball Evolution because it was only like 2009 or something when that movie came out. So it's not like let's see what year it came out. Dragon Ball Evolution was 2009. Okay, I was right. Yeah, I remember that shit. And is this a Fox movie? Yeah, so technically this is now a Disney movie. Or if they ever made a sequel to it, Disney, if you want to just burn money, just give it to me. I'll do fun stuff with it. And then Riding Sonic, thank you very much, says, we're all anti-Karen here. Cheshire Cat quote. Cheshire Cat quote. I haven't seen Alice in Wonderland in like a long time, so I need to rewatch that soon. It is a movie. I want to watch the animated one. And I want to read the book. Or the story. Thank you, Riding Sonic. And Sci-Fi George says, how can I be an ally? Be a friend, respectful to the source material, and by extension, the fans. Having common sense is like owning a golden ticket. Well, Sci-Fi George, that's why Willy Wonka only put, 5 of them in all the candy bars across the world?
He knew what's up.
He did know what's up. And common sense is a rarity. Common sense is harder to come by today than millionaires. It's just a difficult thing. Everyone I understand people being self-absorbed, being assholes, being these things. I don't like it, but I get it. But the fact that you're oblivious to what a douchebag, the obliviousness of it is what bothers me the most. And so the rarity of your golden ticket, your common sense, is refreshing. I think that's why a lot of Fandom Menace channels thrive, because of, you know, just basic common sense. It's like, well, this is PR fluff, this is that, and just kind of break it down. And I think that's refreshing. And in all forms of entertainment reporting, transparency kind of is the new, I don't want to say the new currency. I think truth would be the new currency, but transparency is just a refreshing, it's just refreshing. That's all I can say about that. But being respectful to the source material, Sci-Fi George, does not get people to, doesn't get Variety excited. It doesn't get Deadline or Slash Film excited. It doesn't get the right people talking about your projects. No. I really think there needs to be a new Hollywood. And I don't mean like out here, but just like a new place where people with great ideas go and make their shit. Not this echo chamber fart huffing tube that what is Hollywood right now. It just stinks out here. Bikini Nighty, thank you very much for generous super chat again. Growing up, I would think of an existing property with female characters to be something really cool. I wouldn't see it. I just wouldn't see it treated like what we've been seeing for the past few years. Excuse me. I agree with that statement. For me, it's like a Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider was a female action game. I didn't care. Back in the 90s, it was like, this is a kick-ass game, blah, 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 and your lead hero is a girl or whatever. Let's just say they use that verbiage. And you're like, okay. But then when you see this woman flipping around shooting guns and doing all this cool shit, yeah, she had giant polygonal tits, but still, she was cool. That's what people really cared about, right? I did, though, because I went and paid to see the fucking movie in theaters. I hated it. I walked out and saw Fast and Furious instead. But back then, there was like, I think it was it Jedi Bunny on your stream last night who said like we had reached a place with like racism and sexism and everything was like cool and then it just got bad? And that was a really great point, because we had reached this like place where it wasn't a big deal to have a female lead or a gay character, but we've got so full of ourselves, not us, but like the producers of this content got so full of themselves that they're not even looking. The money, they have so much money that the money just isn't a thing anymore. They're looking for constant validation. And the moment they're not getting it from the newest, most exciting sources, they freak out. It's like, the new kid that comes to school is cool and everybody likes him and you're just like, whatever. But deep down, you're like, oh, if I was friends with him too, it'd be whatever. These Hollywood people that make this stuff, they're insecure. They're looking for validation from said groups, and they'll burn everything to the ground to get that validation. It's damning, it's sad, but I think it's true at the end of the day. So, well, I don't know if we'll ever reach that happy medium that we were at. I don't think they'll allow it. I think the average person's there. I think a lot of us have just kind of carried on that mellow behavior about people with differences. It's, if you can sensationalize it, the news will. If you can make money and divide and segregate, movie studios will. I mean, Black Panther a couple years ago, it wasn't about the newest Marvel hero. It's about the first black hero in Marvel. Again, that was a lie. You also had your, Captain Marvel, the first female-led MCU film. It's all about the firsts again, folks. Not about the quality. It's about the firsts. If I had $1 for every Hollywood studio that was making up things to be the first at, I'd be my own Hollywood studio. Everybody wants to be first at something. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you're first. Just be the fucking best. That's all it is. I admit everyone has a shorter attention span due to the way we consume entertainment. They start early they dumb down cartoons. YouTube really has changed the way people's consuming habits are. Which is funny, though, because big movies still have longer run times, maybe longer than ever. Your big genre films are 3 hours and change. I mean, Lord of the Rings really changed the way a lot of people will consume super long films. I mean, realistically, Star Wars is just 2 hours, the first one. And they get slightly longer by the time you get to Return of the Jedi. Raiders of the Lost Ark might just be... I mean, all these movies were just kind of like, boom, and they were big movies for their time. But now the big movies are well over 2 hours. You know, a 3-hour Marvel movie. Did Avengers cross 3 hours, Endgame? Endgame was over 3 hours long. I think James Bond is only a couple minutes shorter. The car race outside is going to take 3 hours. Yeah. Oh, it is a Ferrari, though. That's kind of cool. But I lost my train of thought. I don't even know where I was going with that. But anyway, movies, longer, length, good. Haha. Jacob Kaiju, thank you very much. He says, wonder how these SJWs would screw up Xena. Like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Xena Warrior Princess can't really be touched or changed because she's either a feminist icon for these people who are trying to say they're feminists and they need to, they need to toe the line, or I look at Xena like I look at Hercules. It was a cool show that I liked as a kid. Did I prefer Hercules? Of course, because I didn't like Xena's scream and I didn't like her little sidekick. Was it Gabriella? Wasn't a fan, but I thought Hercules was cool. Loved the crossover episodes, and Lucy Lawless was probably the perfect Wonder Woman, but they just never made the film in the 90s. If you made a Wonder Woman film with Lucy Lawless, it would still be, if it was done well, it would be regarded because she really fit the role. She looked like she could kick ass, and she looked cool. I mean, that costume was awesome, and that like disc thing that she would throw at people, equally cool. But I feel like, Jacob, that it would be like Buffy, where it would be it's a hands-off thing, unless they take it and they try to make a continuation, not necessarily with Lucy Liu. I would watch it because she was cool. Lucy Lawless. Why do you keep calling her Lucy Liu? My bad. I fucked up. Lucy Lawless. If they made it with Lucy Lawless, I would watch that. But I think they might take a Conan approach where they basically told a new Conan story with Jason Momoa. Some people liked it. Some people didn't. That could be the case, though. Dr. Coffinail says, Cosmic Karen, I need to speak to the Living Tribunal. Do you think that would be a high enough level for her, though? I feel like even the Guardians from Green Lantern wouldn't be enough for her. It's like, ma'am, you've reached Galactus. Leave your call at the beep. And she's like, no. So, I don't know. I just, this shit, it's kind of frustrating. But one point I do want to make before we move off of her entirely is the Harvey. She was Harvey Weinstein's assistant, right?
For a year.
Personal assistant for a year. I'm not making accusations, but what does this lady know? What could she know?
What did this lady do?
What did this lady do? I always think the worst type of people are the ones that know terrible shit goes down and they don't say anything about it. I think those are the worst kind. It's like, oh, all these terrible, horrible things happen. Let me get on my soapbox and talk about representation. But, your inactions caused terrible things to possibly happen to people. And this dude's in jail for, what, 22 years for sexual assault and all that? Yeah. That's irrelevant to this point. But I'm just saying, like, if she...
Yeah, as his personal assistant, I mean, these people, when you're a personal assistant for these upper echelon, for producers in Hollywood and stuff like that, you are up in their business. You know what's happening. She probably booked some of those fucking rooms.
Possibly. For the sake of our channel safety, I'm not making accusations, but all I'm saying is possibly, I'm just asking the question, what does she know? I think that's when I go into this video, because I'm going to turn this into a video, not this stream, but just an actual video. I think those questions need to be asked. I think that's kind of an important thing because it reflects on her character, but she's also, it just shows how full of shit she really is. Makini 90, thank you very much again. He says, Mortal Kombat Karen, she would like to speak to your elder god. I keep thinking of Mortal Kombat Annihilation and that like guy that looks like water, but the CGI is such dog shit that you don't know what you're looking at. It looks like a 90s screensaver. You talk about a franchise that starts strong and ends poorly. Mortal Kombat. I might be in the minority, but I still consider Mortal Kombat the best game movie. Haven't seen Sonic, don't know yet. But Mortal Kombat, I was the right age. I was 7. So, you're 7, you're watching a PG-13 movie, you think you're so cool. And I had the game as well for Super Nintendo, so it was censored to shit. But it was so fun and so cool, and I was so into it. And then the second one came out, and it sucked. The first movie to super disappoint me from the sequel, from the original to the sequel, was Ace Ventura: When Nature Calls. I hated that as a kid. I think I might like it more as an adult, but back then, I hated that movie. And then Mortal Kombat, that was another one that really kind of hit me too. And Episode 1 was another one of those movies where I'm like, yay, a new Star Wars, and then it just didn't do it for me. Jacob Kaiju says, now we need a Wonder Woman Xena crossover. That would be cool. And we need Brian Bolland to do the artwork because he worked on Wonder Woman and he's a great artist. And if we're doing it like TV, then we could have an older Xena and Gal Gadot. I don't know if Gal Gadot, she's not as imposing as Lucy Lawless. Gal Gadot comes off as, believable, but she's life. Linda Carter in her prime versus Lucy Lawless in her prime. That would have been cool. Francis Staines, thank you very much. The disc Xena used is called a chakram. Well, I did not know that. If Xena Warrior Princess is on Netflix, that'd be a fun watch. I wish Hercules was. I watched that when I was drunk a couple of years ago, and it was one of those situations where all my memories came back, and I was blown away. I'm like, oh my God, I remember everything, like the floating eyes and all this shit. Such a good show. And Dion was there, and he grew up watching that show too, so we bonded. Thank you, Sci-Fi George. He also says, these are the types of Karens that reboot Barbarella with Rosie O'Donnell as a lead fighting against the space patriarchy and wonder why it failed. Let me just pull up a visual for the audience instead of looking at me dressed as Chewbacca from the comic. So type in Barbarella. Now, for those who don't know, Barbarella was a 1968 science fiction film. It's cool. It's got, was it Bridget Fonda? She's the lead. Make sure you can't see anything through that. I'll just show a poster. But she was, I guess, cool. I've seen the movie, like I said, but I don't love it. But yeah, she's cool. She's sexy. She's this. This is Barbarella. And then, this is what people want. They're like, hey, we're going to have this Barbarella reboot. It's going to be awesome. And people think about Barbarella. And they think of Cheesecake Sci-Fi and all this shit. And then instead you get Rosie O'Donnell as... I'm trying to think of what's an appropriate Rosie O'Donnell picture. What the sad part is? I used to watch her TV show every day. Yeah, I used to like her as a kid. I thought she was funny. This is the perfect picture of Rosie O'Donnell. Rosie O'Donnell is one of those people that I can't believe was ever a stand-up comedian because she's not fucking funny. Like, there we go. There's that you want Barbarella, you get this. Man, she spends a lot of time in the sun. But yeah, it's like the ultimate in catfishing. I got catfished. Rosie could be great in Moby Dick. I don't know why they cast her in the Flintstones film either. I don't even know why they made the Flintstones movie in the 90s. Was it a hit? I don't remember it being anything more than like a McDonald's commercial, and my uncle got really excited for it because he loves the Flintstones. Yeah, make it stop is right. No more Rosie O'Donnell. How's that? I don't want to torture our eyes anymore. Because remember, I'm seeing the screen too. This isn't just me like looking away. Haha, guys. No, I have to look at those fucking sunspots in the teeth. Oh, the teeth. Kevin Castillo, thank you very much. He says, Mortal Kombat had the greatest theme song ever. Yeah, I listened to it. I haven't listened to it recently, but I used to listen to it maybe once a week in my car. Turn up the speakers because it's got that awesome bass line. We're listening to that tonight, by the way. Well, the coolest part about the Mortal Kombat movie is it starts out with that song. You get pumped up. You're like ready. And they only use it appropriately. They don't just like play it every 5 minutes like some movies. They wait until you get to the really awesome fight scenes. And then they play most of it through the end when he fights. He's about to fight Shang Tsung. That's such a good movie. Bruce Lombardo says, you need a Street Fighter, the movie 1994 watch party. That'd be fun. That would be a movie where I do a double feature of Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat. and all we do is talk about video games and shit like that. Now I kind of want to make that happen. That would be the perfect one because, you know, I was 5 or 6 when Street Fighter came out, and I saw it on videotape. I had Street Fighter 2 Turbo as a kid for the Super Nintendo. Well, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo Hyper Fighting. That was the full title, I believe. And I was good at it. I always played as Ken. That was my favorite character, still is to this day. But the movie, whew, you talk about terrible adaptations. To me, what Disney Star Wars is to Star Wars is what Street Fighter the movie is to the game. They don't even look the same. They don't feel the same. I mean, every once in a while you get, one of the dragon kicks or one of the moves or something like that, and it kind of reminds you of Street Fighter, but you're watching this and you're wondering why Van Damme is, in full military police garb in another country. He's supposed to be Guile with the big hair and the American flag tattoo and all that fun stuff. True story, though. Van Damme was doing cocaine on the set almost every day and had an affair with Kylie Minogue. That is not hearsay. That was an interesting list of facts I read about the film. And he's no longer married to that wife. He has a new wife after her. So there we go. Robert Meza, thank you very much, Robert. He says, did you ever watch Andromeda? Was great, plus Alex Lifeson of Rush did the music for the intro. I may have seen Andromeda. Let me look. The thing is about a show like that, it's one of those shows that I might have caught on, I use the term Channel 64 a lot because where I grew up, Channel 64 is where you had all the syndicated shows. So that's where you'd watch Xena and Hercules, and they had Star Trek The Next Generation, and all those shows only appeared on Channel 64. So, Kevin Sorbo. I know the show. I may have seen an episode. I can't tell you I'm a big fan or something like that. I'm aware of this show for sure. And this guy kind of reminds me of Alan Tudyk. But I'll show you the picture. I screenshotted it.
Don't you mean Alan
Tudyk? Oh. Tudyk today. But Robert, I will I'll give it another shot down the road. I think we have to do, what's the one we're watching? Stargate first, right? No, what's the one?
5.
Babylon 5. We have a list of a couple shows we're working our way through. Right now it's Supernatural. We're kind of committed to that one. But I like Kevin Sorbo. I do think he should be in more stuff. He was a fun Hercules. I think he really is my Hercules. I know a ton of actors have played him, and I know there's that Disney movie, but Kevin Sorbo was cool. I mean, I'm sure watching it now with a clear mind, not being drunk or anything, the show will be a little hokier, but I don't know. He did a good job. I liked it. Last time I watched the show, I was drunk. I was very drunk with Dion. Barney the Spaceosaurus Woke Reek says, just saw John Carpenter's The Fly last week. It was insane, but great. Are you sure you mean John Carpenter's The Fly? Because I think David Cronenberg directed The Fly. Now, did you see the John Carpenter's The Thing? Yeah, David Cronenberg directed The Fly. If you saw The Fly, that's a great movie. It's gross as shit. Oh, when he pulls off his fingernails and shit. Ooh, the body horror is second to none. We're going to watch that one night. Jeff Goldblum is fantastic in that movie. It's a sad ending too. The fact that they ever tried to make a sequel, no. But it's a really good movie. It's gross. I remember my mom used to tell me about that movie. I think she went and saw it with my dad when they first started dating. And she talks about like him putting his dick in a medicine jar because it falls off. But if that's the movie you saw, it was insane. Now, if you saw The Thing, that's a better movie. That's even more insane, and that is John Carpenter. But The Fly's solid, man. I think you had a good time. That's all I can say. You had a good time. Joey Bryant, thank you very much for your generous super chat. He says, we need a double feature of the original Conan the Barbarian and the Beastmaster. I don't think I've ever seen Beastmaster outside of the Tanya Roberts scenes. That's just me being completely honest because she's naked. But, yeah, down the road, I know I can add that to our list. Depending on, because the weird thing is, so Kendo has an essential job. And so if you're a patron and you're waiting for a wrestling podcast, we haven't had a chance to record it yet because he's on like super triple overtime right now. And he just, working because what he does is essential. But if I can get the guys to commit to some more times, we would do more stuff. But I like to do the watch parties with everybody. I mean, I can spare Dion at times, but Dion's a huge Conan fan, and I think it would be shitty to watch that without him. But Joey, that's something I will add to the list for you. I'll take a picture, and I'll tell the guys, because they'd be pumped for it. I respect old sword and sorcery flicks. They're not necessarily my favorite, but I mean, I will watch them. But thank you. Laura Story also says, if you like Kevin Sorbo, watch Meet the Spartans. I remember Meet the Spartans, never seen it, but it's one of those scary movie parodies of 300. Laura Story, it's been a while since I've heard from you. I don't know if I can watch that movie. I mean, I have very little self-respect left. I think I'd lose it all. Do you want to watch it, Jesse?
Yes, if I want to watch you.
Meet the Spartans. With a budget of $30 million, it made $84 million. And it stars Carmen Electra, Sean Maguire, Kevin Sorbo. I'll watch it for Diedrich Bader. I love that dude. He's great in Office Space. Barney the Spaceosaurus Woke Reek says, yes, you're right. David Cronenberg did direct the movie. Thanks for the correction. Oh, Barney, not trying to correct you, man. Just wanted to clarify it because The Fly, The Thing, it could have been a typo or whatever. But yeah, good movie. Really good movie. I think did he do Scanners as well? Because if you want to talk about a movie that messed me up as a kid, let me just make sure it is him. It is him. I saw Scanners when I was searching through my dad's old videotape collection. And that's where I found, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, Witness, Silverado, Blade Runner, either movies that I thought were cool or movies that I ended up falling in love with. But then I saw Scanners one day and I was watching it and I saw the part where the guy's head exploded and it fucked my head up. I was 5, maybe 6, so I really shouldn't have watched it. But that scene really messed with me. Now as an adult, it doesn't bother me, especially since I read how the effect was done. But for years, and even if you catch me at the right time and I see the scene, I'm a little like, because I don't want to watch it. But yeah, if you're looking for a fun movie, check out Scanners. Videodrome's cool. Debbie Harry looks great in that movie. David Cronenberg's had a hell of a career. Naked Lunch, that's cool. All in the Dead Zone. That's my favorite David Cronenberg film, The Dead Zone. Yep. With Christopher Walken. He also directed The Stupids, I think. Did he really direct The Stupids? No, he didn't direct. John Landis directed it, but he's associated with The Stupids. Anyway, I'm not going to go down a David Cronenberg hole. The ice is going to break. Savage Rush 012 says, you should watch the 1993 Super Mario Brothers. It's funny you bring this up, Savage Rush 012. I don't know if you may have caught the last podcast where I briefly mentioned, because somebody asked me if I had watched or listened to the Cold War. It was The Fixer. He says, Jeff, have you listened to that Cold War podcast yet? I was thinking to myself, no, I haven't, because I've been busy listening to this Movies Never Made podcast. And Logan Michael turned me on to the show. If you want to, or Savage Rush, if you have the time, check it out, because they do a 4-part series where they read other versions of the script for the Super Mario Brothers movie. And it actually sounds pretty cool. Because my mom took me to see Mario in theaters as a kid. I had a Super Nintendo and all this shit. I was a big Mario fan. Hated the movie. Watched it like twice.
That movie's incredible. I don't know what you're talking about.
The movie's dog shit, Jesse.
It's amazing. Shut up.
I'm never going to shut up.
John Leguizamo.
John Leguizamo's a fine actor, but Mortal Kombat's better in every way.
I'm not necessarily disputing that. I'm just saying it's a great movie.
Well, maybe we'll watch it again together and puke. But Savage Rush, I have seen it. I wouldn't mind doing a stream of all video game movies. That could be crazy. And then start the Twitch channel, and Jesse and I can play the games.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be opposed to that at all. But thank you, Savage Rush. Laura Story says, I'm always listening, just pour into the stimulus. Smiley face, or laughing face with tears. Laura, thank you very much. Glad you're still here. It's funny. Channel grows, you go through new people, but it's nice to see names that you recognize all the time.
Laura found me first.
Laura did find you first, but she sent us that port, right?
Yes.
All
Well, me, because you weren't looking for them.
Well,
That was-
you sent Jesse the port. I drank said port. Thank you.
Yes. It's finally gone, Laura. You can let her know.
And we drank all of it. So
I had that. Was over a year old.
It was still, it's good. I had a good time with it. And Robert Mesa says, do you feel Lord of the Rings is the last thing we can hold on to that hasn't succumbed to the SJWs? Well, Robert, I'm new to Lord of the Rings. I've only seen the entire trilogy once, but I did enjoy it. It was definitely a film. I don't want to say it couldn't be made today, but I want to say it couldn't be made today. Not because of technology or anything like that. We haven't regressed, but I feel like they would try a lot of this shit if they were to remake it or they were trying to adapt it now. And another thing too, like Sam and Frodo, they had some very like touchy-feely moments. I'm sure they would try to write them as gay characters if they made Lord of the Rings today.
See, that's the thing. That's probably why I think people like that would be. I mean, you have to wonder about the hubris on these people and how far it extends. Because the reality is, no.
Speak up louder.
You have to wonder about these people and their hubris and stuff. Like, no single filmmaker in Hollywood is half as smart as J.R.R. Tolkien was. He was an incredibly intelligent person, an incredibly worldly person, very learned, very well read, and you're just not going to improve upon that. The amount of research, the amount of life experience he poured into allegory and poured into those books, you are not going to be able to replicate that, and you're not going to be able to improve upon that. So I would hope that that's the kind of property where people have enough humility to realize that and leave it the F alone.
They don't, because like I said earlier, I don't think they even care about money anymore. Money is the great motivator. And but Robert, I do think Lord of the Rings is safe for now, but I think did the Amazon series get put on hold?
Yeah.
I hope they never make it. I know I'm new to Lord of the Rings. I don't have as much of a stake in it as other people, but I liked what I saw. Leave it be.
I gotta say, I was not excited when they announced they were doing it. It's one of those things for me. I'm with you on that. I'm like, just let it alone.
I always use Back to the Future as the example. I don't want more. I don't want more of anything. Just
I want
leave
new.
it be.
I want different. I want something new to be excited about.
I know this sounds like a crazy thing to say, but like to me, the Marvel movies were new novelty that I was so invested that I went to great lengths to watch all of them, and it was fun. And I just want to have that excitement, and I'm willing to watch like most movies that come out. I just want that kind of level of excitement. I want to get lost in the world and go pay my $20 and have a good 3 hours, good experience.
I care and want to come back and revisit those characters and those stories and those worlds because they left an impact on me. Not just, hooray, I was entertained for a little bit and with my member berries, the end.
Thank you for bringing up the with my member berries thing, because I'm not trying to like overinflate it, but I want to be moved when I see a movie. I don't need to be moved to tears. I just want to feel something like either excitement or suspense or terror or something. And I don't get that a lot with especially with we'll just call them socially engineered films, the new Star Wars, the stuff like that. I'm not on the edge of my seat for anything besides a bad story, besides a bad script, besides bad ideology that's just shoved in the movie and very heavy handed. I don't get, it's like a doctor's visit. It's cold, it's sterile, they're wearing a glove, it goes up your ass, you feel violated, you leave, you're not happy. You don't have anything. You don't have cancer, you're safe. But you just leave like, well, it was just a routine checkup, and that's it. These movies are just routine. I don't need to do anything else. I don't need to own them. I don't need to talk about them. I don't need to take them out into the world and make them mine. You make friends through entertainment. Comic book stores. Comic books are entertainment. I can't tell you how many people that I know in my community from the comic book store. There's all types of people that you meet for similar interests. I mean, Jesse and I met over similar interests.
Be a fun quality control test.
What?
Now, not that I've ever experienced this personally, but I hear that when you are under the influence of things like marijuana, your sensory experience changes. They should just they should show all their test screenings to like a small focus group of stone people and see how they react. Because if they if they get that like whoa feeling, then maybe you're onto something. If they're just like bro, then
that's not a bad idea.
I feel like that would work for quality control.
I mean, sign us up for quality control.
I'll participate. Hooray!
So, folks, like I said tonight, we're going to have a lot of Star Wars stuff to cover. We have Hawk's History Corner, and he's going to be over there, and we're going to be talking about the Star Wars spaceships, the lore. He's an expert in all this stuff, and I'm going to be dropping the link to you guys right now. I'll be there. So every time I drop the link to a Jesse stream, it's just going to be more of this type of stream. So We're going to be playing Star Wars Mad Libs as well. We're also going to be playing
Our new
adult Mad Libs as well. So that's going to be a good time. And we're talking about Street Fighter. I see Vega, Gordo Scarface. Vega was fun. I love his theme song. Guitar Jedi says stoners like anything. Cocaine is a hell of a drug. That's a great screen name. I just like that one. So, Don Juan Fontaine, thank you very much. Welcome back. That's how sad I was when I saw Masters of the Universe when it came out in '87. I was sad that it wasn't He-Man. Don Juan, I've said this a bunch of times, and even today I was looking through old pictures on my phone, and I had some like a He-Man action figure picture. I want to love He-Man. It's cool in concept. I love Skeletor, and like that design's perfect. But even though I don't have the same feelings towards He-Man, I definitely get it because you go in and it's such a disappointment. And you know what the messed up part though too was, Don Juan? That was the standard for a while. Like adaptations, like Batman wasn't the norm. I mean, Batman was the biggest movie of 1989, I think, or was it Last Crusade worldwide? Point is though, when you're adapting Batman, you got a take on Batman that really resonated with people, and it's a version of Batman. It's the Frank Miller version. It's this, it's that. There was nothing like that. I mean, I've seen the Masters of the Universe film, and I've seen the cartoon. Way different. I think if you made a He-Man film today, and it was kind of violent and balls to the wall crazy, and still had some humor to it, I think it'd be cool. Because I always liked how He-Man was that mesh of not mythological shit, but like sword and sorcery and technology. They had those flying motorcycle things, and there were all kinds of doodads and gadgets. But I don't think they did it right, but I think they should give it another shot. And I hope Kevin Smith doesn't ruin it just because he got high and thought, making, was it Orko or whatever his name is, the main character, some dumb shit like that. I will pay money to see a He-Man film if I know if the trailer looks cool, and if it's going to be He-Man versus Skeletor. I want sword fighting and violence and blood and guts and all this shit, because anyone that argues, well, He-Man film needs to appeal to families. I'm 31, and I even just told you I'm a little too young for He-Man. So your core demographic is going to be older dudes or people that are hooked by a cool trailer. And guess what? Rated R movies make billions of dollars these days. It's no longer an R rating as a death knell for a low box office. Joker made $1 billion. Deadpool 1 and 2 made like $760 million each. So we're no longer in the territory of R ratings equal failures. All it is good movie equals big success. So you just got to do it right. Major Spike 9000, thank you very much. He says, Stephen King Sleepwalkers, I'm begging you. I do want to do a Stephen King day. I would dedicate a long stream to Stephen King films. Now, Sleepwalkers, have I seen this one? Yes, I have. Mick Garris, I think he's on a podcast I listened to. But yeah, I saw this a long time ago, probably on Netflix when it was on there. But I'd be down to watch it. I also would want to watch Silver Bullet, all those. I love Stephen King movies. I need to read the books. Thank you, the Major Spike 9000. Joey Bryant, thank you very much again. He says, just ask Peter Jackson with The Hobbit. What's the deal with The Hobbit? I haven't seen that one, Joey Bryant.
It's garbage.
It's garbage?
They stretched one book that was shorter than any one of the 3 Lord of the Rings books and made it into 3 fucking movies and added all this ridiculousness that didn't need to be there. It wasn't woke or anything. It was just stupid.
It was just dumb. Joey, I have no interest in watching The Hobbit, at least not now. I read the book 2003, and that's it. That was my only Lord of the Rings previous knowledge. So I'll take Jesse's word for it. Maybe one day.
Nope.
Okay, never. Okay, thanks. Laura Story, thank you very much. I saw your message either way. Thank you. But you retracted it. And Sci-Fi George finally says, if Disney was smart, they'd hire the original crew for Avengers Earth's Mightiest Heroes, Spectacular Spider-Man, Wolverine and the X-Men, and advertise 2 new seasons of each to wrap them up exclusively on Disney+. Boom. I clapped not for emphasis to whatever, but I got excited thinking about that. I watch Earth's Mightiest Heroes quite a bit, actually. I think that's the most frequently watched cartoon last year or so for me. I love it. I had Nick get me Blu-ray rips. I have the free year of Disney Plus, so I'm watching it. That to me was the perfect representation of Marvel overall, because you watched it, you had that strange 60s weirdness, then it got into the 70s cosmic stuff, and then it moved forward. I wouldn't be mad at Disney if they decided that they were going to have a new initiative in the animation front. You really want to make Disney Plus viable. You really want to make it a thing that I can't put down. Create a Marvel animated universe akin to the DC animated universe, where we have connecting shows, this, that, and the other. We build our universe. I honestly think they should go back and continue Earth's Mightiest Heroes as that, because that was the perfect representation. I liked every episode. I liked characters I didn't even care about up until then. I liked the Wasp. I thought she was cool, even before Evangeline Lilly played her. So I'm with you there. Spectacular Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man cartoon. When I found out it was canceled, I was pissed, especially the plans they had. They were going to make it more mature. They were going to put direct DVD movies out. They had a really great plan, but because of Sony and Disney and rights, the copyright stuff is really what screwed the fans over. With the exception, though, of Disney, because Earth's Mightiest Heroes came out in 2011, 2 years after, a year and a half, we'll just say, that after Disney bought Marvel, and then they let it run, and then they canceled it to bring in Avengers Assemble, which is a shit cartoon. I've tried to watch it. You're in your 30s. Why are you watching cartoons? Because I like Marvel. I like superheroes. I like this shit. They only make 3 Thor movies. He appears in 2 or 3 other movies. But if I want to watch Thor going on all these adventures, I'm going to watch the cartoons. That's the only way I can get my Thor fix, or the Hulk, or any of these other characters. And they just never did them right, outside of really Earth's Mightiest Heroes. And then Wolverine the X-Men was a good show. I watched that not too long ago. I still have a special spot in my heart for the X-Men animated series. But if you were to make a world that fit tonally these 3 shows together, I wouldn't complain a single bit. I might even keep up my Disney Plus subscription if that was the case. It means those shows meant that much to me, and absolutely loved them. So Sci-Fi George, thank you for everything. Thank you to everybody tonight, folks. As you know, Fandom Menace tonight only goes for about 90 minutes, and we've reached that 90-minute marker. So I'm going to go over to Mindless Entertainment. Here's the link right there in the chat. Go join us. We're going to be having a lot of fun, as we always do. We'll be on camera. We'll be playing Star Wars Mad Libs. We're going to have Hocticus History Corner. We're going to talk about the history of Star Wars ships, and it's going to be a Karen-centric stream. So from all of us here at World Class Bullshitters, a.k.a. me, Jesse, you want to say goodbye?
Bye, everybody.
Jesse says goodbye too. But from all of us here at World Class Bullshitters, thank you for watching. Be safe. It's a crazy time, folks. The world is falling apart. I heard about food shortages and other shit, so just take care of yourself. But most importantly, folks, always be excellent to each other.